Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fujoshi Commentary, your go-to place for anime, manga, and yaoi facts, recommendations, and reviews, all done by yours truly. So today, by the title of this video, you can probably already guess that I'm going to talk about the one, the only, the famous, the acclaimed Yuri on Ice. Now, what is Yuri on Ice? Some of you may ask. Well, Yuri on Ice is an anime that is about figure skaters and the extremely gay sports anime undertones that we all know and love, all combined and put into one fantabulous episodic series that we just need this winter to keep us both warm from pleasure and chilling from the amazing skating. So if you're here, you probably already know. When you see this, you're probably A, extremely triggered because I dare say that Yuri on Ice isn't a yaoi, or B, you're like, what is this Yuri on Ice? Let me click on it. You're probably the top half, and calm down and let me explain why. Now, we all know that in the last episode of Yuri on Ice, we got a phenomenal kiss, implied kiss. It was a kiss scene in my opinion, with Victor and Yuri, as Yuri basically went and did all his beautiful, magnificent tricks, and he basically got his "you did awesome" celebratory kiss from Victor as he runs into his arms and embraces him, and we get that weird arm sleeve kiss thing that we're supposed to get. Yes, so if you haven't seen that already, that was a major spoiler. I'm sorry, it's been a week. If you haven't watched it by now, odds are you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. A lot of people were up for debate. There are people who are happy because yes, 2010s have given us something LGBTQ that is healthy, beautiful, and blossoming. And it's popular in mainstream society. What more could you want? And then there's the other half that's just like, censoring my yaoi! And I have to be like, whoa, hold on. Already the hype for Yuri on Ice is tremendous. Every episode is like the Messiah has given us these grains and manna from heaven, which, while this show is extremely good, the hype is kind of ruining it with all the Z-lot spamming of the gifs, spamming of the spoilers of the show the minute it comes out. And I'm just like, can we get a minute? Can we? I haven't seen this much excitement since the first season of Free came out, and that wasn't even canon. Now we know, confirmed by the creator of Yuri on Ice, it is indeed canon. It is canon, it is a thing. Victor and Yuri are love. They are a couple. Now, a lot of people were questioning, well, why censor the kiss? Why? A lot of people were talking about censorship laws in Japan, which that has nothing to do with a kiss. There are plenty of anime that are mainstream that have males and females kissing. It is shown on screen. It's not really the issue. It's not a kid's show, so there would be no need to censor it. And the only censorship laws that apply in Japan is the actual, like, genitalia has to be censored and blurred, and there are certain hours you can only show this sort of adult stuff if the genitalia are showing. It's not, that has nothing to do with it. The part of the reason why I think a lot of people are up in arms or excited about Yuri on Ice and the last episode scene is the fact that they are misinterpreting the entire genre and the actual love itself. This is a common case of the Shounen-ai Formula. What is the Shonen-ai Formula? Well, let's date back to the good old days of Gravitation. What is Gravitation? Gravitation is the beautiful 2000 anime that was the burst of what gave us the Shonen-ai genre and really just blew it off as far as giving it international attention and having it driven fan-wide. It gave us some good music from Katio Kinya and Iceman and all of those good people. Now, the actual story, if you don't know what Gravitation is, the basic gist of it is a guy who wants to make it as a musician, a singer in his band with his best friend. He comes across a guy who reads his lyrics on a whim in a random park. He says that his lyrics basically suck ass. he gets mad, and he basically goes off and tries to prove this guy wrong, while in the process managing to fall in love with this guy based on whether it be his looks, his personality, just the fact that he feels drawn to him. And you just go on this complete journey about why this guy, whose name is Shuichi Shindo, is just in love with the other man who basically insulted him, Yuki. And you just basically follow his story along. It's actually still ongoing. The mangaka hasn't made a new chapter in ages, but it's still ongoing. It's promising. She does doujin as well. She's the more cheesy and sultry sort of things. If you want to read it, I'll link it in the description. There's also an anime in dub and sub. I'll link those down in the description. Now, in that regards to how it connects to Yuri on Ice, such as Gravitation in 2000 gave us this Shonen-ai Formula. Prior to Gravitation, there were not a lot of Shonen-ai-esque anime out there. They were either extremely straight, and it was implied for brotherly love, or they were extremely yaoi. It was the opposite end of the spectrum. It was a yaoi that had genitals, or either the genitals were censored. It was basically a gay male hentai. And with that being said, all of this was just created in a cluster plethora, and we didn't really have just a shonen-ai, something to define the genre. Well, in 2000 all that changed, and this shonen-ai formula was basically that the protagonist of the series has a goal. He has a goal, he has an ambition, he has a drive, he has something he's got to get through. Which most shonen-ai, if you've read any shonen-ai manga, that's usually what it is. It's not meaningless. And then with this goal, they actually go through and they stop. And they come across this person that they see qualities in, they are in love with, and they start to feel these weird feelings. And it's not really something that it just right off the bat comes to you like a typical yaoi or a typical shoujo manga. It's actually something where they encounter, it kind of registers, but it doesn't start sinking in until later in the series. And this is exactly the same thing we see with Yuri on Ice. Now, Yuri is actually kind of obsessed with Victor, and he's been that way since he was young. He's even got a dog that was his, you know. It's kind of like an obsession, but it's not so much as I love you, please fuck me. It's more of a, you're an actual role model in my life, and I really want to be like you. I want to strive to be like you, and I want my ambitions and my goals to reflect on the success that and the inspiration that you have given me. Now, with Gravitation, we all knew the same gist. Had his song, wasn't really inspired. Guy comes through, sees his lyrics, calls it shit. He proves him wrong, which moves his drive extra. And we see this in Yuri on Ice as well. Yuri has a goal, be one of the top figure skaters, but then he's kind of down in the dumps in the beginning. Then he encounters a man who is, while he is way more talented in that sort of expertise, like with Shuichi and Yuki, Yuki is more experienced in the art of love as far as writing stories that captivate millions of women, or writing a song that can just have that plethora, or writing novels. You know, he has that materialistic instinct, he's very good at his craft, and you see newbie versus expert. Victor and Yuri are the same way. Victor is the expert ice skater. He sees what he can do, he sees what he's got. While it's not the top-notch thing, it's not him, he's still kind of blown away by it. But as far as to Yuki, Yuki doesn't show that he's any sort of blown away or anything, or that he has potential. He's actually kind of the polar opposite of how Victor treats Yuri, but they sort of kind of act as a mentor, as an inspirational source to the main protagonist's sort of ambitions and dreams. And it kind of proves that in this anime we have that sort of thing. It's nothing new under the sun. They're just reincarnating it into an actual original video animation, as opposed to getting it from the manga like Gravitation did in 2000 and the 90s. So, back to the whole connections. Now that we know that we have the protagonist who actually has an ambition, but he's feeling a lot of like animosity down in the dumps, just feels like he's not worth it. He's struggling to find his sense of self, his creative muse, and then the elder of his craft decides to line a light bulb in that little head and say, you can do this, by either mentorship or simply just the words to get them drived. And then we come to all the way up into the point of the training and the chasing after yourself versus what you can do, all this internal sort of battle. And then we get to the peak, which happened in this week's episode of Yuri on Ice, which is where we get the tension building up. You feel like you've gotten right to that point, and the protagonist is just at his peak right now. He's at the hype of his career. He's just going and going, and he says, I did good. That's what Yuri thinks. And then we have on Gravitation side, we have Shuichi going in, he's getting a deal, he's going with NG Productions, he's getting all of this going for himself, and then the kiss, the moment of truth. It is when the seme, or the sort of older figure, comes along and he gets kind of wrapped up in his own emotions, whether it be through excitement, through congratulatory praise, through the fact that he's just like, this person is so beautiful, as Victor would see it, and he just kisses him, and then everyone's just like, or with Gravitation, where the first kiss in Gravitation was basically censored. You went in and he leaned in close and his earrings simply moved. That was it. That was the first kiss. And it's the same thing that happened with Yuri on Ice. He jumps into his arms, the arm sleeve thing with the kiss. And that is simply the simplistic Shonen-ai formula that is created in Shonen-ai shows. And that is something that is to test the waters of an anime to see, will this be something we move forward to keep kissing? Do fans want more kissing? Would our ratings go up more? It's simply sort of an experimental measured test. And for that reason, I feel like they are playing this right. They're doing it right. And I applaud. But no, Yuri on Ice is not a yaoi. A yaoi is an actually sexually explicit anime that shows the genitals, the actual sex scenes. It's more sexual than it is relationship and character build. This is a shonen-ai. The best we can call this is a shonen-ai. It is a canon shonen-ai. A lot of people tend to lump yaoi in with just like, they're two gay guys in the show together as the main cast. That in Japan is a lot more specific. Bottom line with that, be happy. Yuri on Ice is one of the first shonen-ai to come out of the 2010s. That's 6 years into the 2010s. And we got Yuri on Ice, and that's pretty good. I also do recommend you watch that new rugby anime, All Out. It is a good sports anime. It's not as yaoi-esque, but it's still pretty good. Also, I do recommend you watching some of the Yuri on Ice simulcast because they have a pretty good cast going. If you want to hear Russia from Hetalia take Victor's voice, I recommend you watch that because that is hilarious. Also, I do recommend that we enjoy and embrace this time of Yuri on Ice, and we hope, because it's not from a manga to anime adaptation, and that they will get DVD sales from this anime and merchandise sales, which are already trying to get up in the sales right now, that we will get a season 2, or that they'll end it abruptly like they do most any shonen-ai and they just don't renew it because they don't. But let's hope they do. And with that being said, please, if you thought this video was helpful and not too ranty, please feel free to subscribe. If you click this cute little egg, Saitama right here, you click to subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, show it by giving it a thumbs up. If you feel like that there is something that I missed a little bit within this video, or you may have your own explanation as to why you think the Yuri on Ice kiss was censored, please let me know down in the comments below so that we can have a discussion about it. I try to put out at least 2 videos every week. If you need some yaoi fix and you're wondering what's going on in the yaoi-verse, I do have a yaoi news video that I made about a week or so ago. It has a few new experiments of what's going on. If you like Nakamura Asumiko and you like super lovers and some of those things, you may want to check that out. With that being said, guys, peace, love, and stay Groovin, humans. Bye!